Hello! Normal service is resuming on my channel. I'm back on my fair hills of Englandhamshire. I'm away from the hustle and bustle of Londonhamshire town. And more importantly, I've got my setup back. But you're not here for that. You're here for my Machine Head live review. On May 18th, which is the Friday just gone, I travelled to London to see Machine Head play at the Roundhouse. First of 2 nights that they played there, and ended up staying in a hotel. Okay, now just to forewarn you, I did get quite a decent amount of footage from the gig, but my phone ran out of power. Yet again, more equipment problems. It does happen as you get older. I think I filmed about half the gig. I mean, it's a 3-hour set. There was no support band, it was just Machine Head. I got a good 16 songs. Not full videos by any stretch, some of it was only like 10-15 seconds or whatever, but I got enough to be able to intersperse into said video. I'll put a set list for you in the description, so I'm not going to cover every single song, but it is worth mentioning that if you go on setlist, I don't know if it's setlist.com or whatever, I'll put a link for that in the description as well, but you'll find that they've actually been swapping out a lot of songs every night. So every night they've been playing, so the hits have pretty much stayed the same throughout the set, but some of the more deep cuts have been chopped and changed around. So this set list that you'll see here in the description might very well not be what you get to see if you're going to see them soon. Okay, so they opened with Imperium. Awesome. I literally got there like 2 minutes before the start. I don't see the point in standing in the fucking queue for hours on end. I don't see the point of that. If I want to get to the front, I'll barge my way to the front. I didn't barge my way to the front, but I'm saying I could have done. I could have! I promise you I could have. I literally got in 2 minutes before the show started, and they started out with Imperium. Let's lose our mind. Imperium's a very important song for me. Like many other people, when they had their little dip after Supercharger, hearing Imperium for the first time was the song that really got me back into the band. It's great that I was there to actually see that and to hear that, because I could have very easily missed that by a couple of minutes. So a great start to it, and after that they went straight into Volatile. I'll say right now, they played quite a few songs from Catharsis, and I was pleased to see that they went over just as well as a lot of the older stuff. I defended the Catharsis album pretty damn strongly when it was released, when it was getting so much hate from dickheads. And I was really, really pleased to see how well these songs went over live. People just really vibing on them. Great energy, fantastic energy. Next up we have Now We Die. And followed shortly after by Beautiful Mourning from The Blackening. I've had the pleasure of seeing Machine Head live a number of times over the years, and they've never disappointed. They're always high energy, they always put everything into it, and they're always so goddamn on point with the musicianship. Next up, one of my personal favourites, the blood, the sweat, the tears. Oh yes, I As you would expect, this got a real good response from the crowd, which was great to hear. And this was followed up with Kaleidescope. Again, this is one of those ones that I defended quite a lot when it came out. Even a lot of people who would go on to enjoy the Catharsis album had a real problem with this song. I loved it right from the off, and I suspected this would go over well live, and it did. Just got that sort of a vibe about it that just gets the pit moving. Next up, first inclusion of one of the longer songs, Clenching the Fists of Dissent. Great rendition of this song. I did move around quite a lot around the gig, and I did find at certain points the sound got a little muddy at times, but overall it sounded pretty damn good. The Roundhouse itself is a great venue. I mean, Rob said it himself, there's such a vibe about the place, he loves playing there, and I can see why. There's a brief interlude that happens here. Phil going into a guitar solo, lots of dive bombing and whammy pedal. Phil is an absolute fucking rock star, and I mean that in the best possible way. Just such charisma, such a cool vibe about the guy. Real high energy, he was really interacting with the crowd. All of them were. Jared was awesome as well, it has to be said. Jared was fucking fantastic as well, delivering a lot of great backup vocals, great stage presence. Dave McLean, of course, the monster behind the kit, laying it all down. So precise, that guy. I mean, he surely has to be a huge part of the reason why the band are so good live. So that's saying good drummer, good band, great drummer, awesome band. But what of Rob Flynn? The charisma of this dude is just phenomenal. He is truly one of the great frontmen of modern metal. He really is. Such a great performance. Again, like Phil, full of charisma, high energy. His voice is great as well. Remember, I think Jamie Justice mentioned quite a lot of times on his podcast that Rob Flynn's one of those guys who'll like be rehearsing 2-3 hours before a set, warming up his voice, and it really pays off. It just sounds great. It sounded so awesome. Next up is a tribute to Chris Cornell.
Today, if you didn't know, is the 1-year anniversary of Chris Cornell's death. That dude was one of the single biggest influences on me. And not that my voice sounds anything even remotely as good as his, but that dude was just a fucking amazing songwriter. I love Soundgarden, I love Temple of the God. When he passed away, I will say, all of his solo shit, Mourning Euphoria, that was the shit. Something about the music he did, man, whenever he sang, you could hear the ache in his voice. You could hear the pain in his voice. You could hear the anger and feel the fucking rage inside of him, man. And very few people have that, and that drew me to him. That's the shit that drew me to him. And for a long time, I followed him. And when that dude passed away, I gotta say, man, all of the rock stars that have died recently, that one hit me so fucking hard, man. It hit me so fucking hard. I was seriously in a depression for fucking weeks, man. That somebody as fucking good, as powerful as him, man, could do that shit. It just didn't make sense. But then, it did. It did make sense. Because sometimes I've gotten to that same dark place.
And after this, he goes into Darkness Within.
This is the story that showed
everyone was singing along. It's one of those real crowd participatory sort of songs. Next up we had Catharsis. From This Day is up next. A song that I always enjoyed. Burning Red, I've stated many a time on my Machine Head videos that Burning Red, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most... I never understood why it got the backlash that it did for that album. Some great songs on there. And I know this, don't get me wrong, the video to this sucked. But it's a decent enough song. Next up was 10-Ton Hammer, which I think is the only actual inclusion of a song from the More Things Change. Next up was Is There Anybody Out There, which I'll be honest, I never got into that song, and I did actually hear quite a few people around me saying similar sentiments. Well, not similar. One guy blatantly said, play something fucking good. Yeah, it's not one of their best songs in my opinion, and yeah, I never really got into that song, but you know. Next up was Locust. Again, another great response, one of the great songs from Under the Locust. Another one of my favourite Machine Head albums. I wish they'd have played I Am Hell. I fucking love that song. Or Who We Are. Next up was Beyond the Pale. The first song pretty much everybody heard from the upcoming Catharsis album, and caused controversy straight away for its similarity to Strapping Young Lad's Love, which it does. There's no denying it, it fucking does. But really strong song, went over great live. After this we had a drum solo by Dave McLean. This is the sort of stuff that a lot of stadium acts do. I mean, it's a great... Dave's a phenomenal drummer. There's absolutely no denying what a phenomenal drummer he is. Drum solos have never really done much for me, to be honest. But I understand the inclusion of them. When you're doing a 3-hour set, Rob needs a chance to rest his voice and, you know, to be able to get through the set. Now, unfortunately, that's where my camera ran out of power. Should I say that's when my phone ran out of power, because that's what I was using to film it on. I believe the next song was Bulldozer, which went down fucking awesome. Killers and Kings, Bloodstones and Diamonds album, of course. That went down very well. Davidian, I was actually quite surprised they played that. Fuck off, man. Fuck off. Alright, I get it, mate. I get it. You're lost. We're all lost, mate. We're all lost. None of us know what we're doing. After the shootings, I think it was the Las Vegas stuff, Rob said how he didn't want to play Davidian again. I was kind of unsure. Oh, I am filming a review. There was a great rendition of Descend the Shades of Night. I like the softer side of Machine Head. The softer side of Machine Head. Isn't that nice? Now, I do appreciate it because I love some of their more acoustic pieces, and Rob can really sing. He's one of these metal guys who can genuinely fucking sing. Next up was oh, fuck off. Next up was a double whammy for me, which was Exhale the Vile and Triple Beam. Exhale the Vile is one of my favourite songs from the Burning Red, and Triple Beam is one of my standout songs from Catharsis. Check out my review of that if you haven't already. But yeah, that sums up an incident that Rob spoke about quite a lot back in the his A. Now, next up is actually the last song that I was there for, because unfortunately I had to leave. But it was Aesthetics of Hate, and what a song to go out on. Of course, a tribute to the late great Dimebag Darrell. Fuck you, William Grimm, you piece of shit, asshole. You will never be forgotten for the foul words you spoke for Dimebag and for the metal community in general. Go fuck yourself. So that was the end of my show. I had to get out of there. I did have to have a look on the set list afterwards. By all accounts, after that they played Game Over, Old, which I would have loved to have seen, and apparently the closer, and by the looks of it has been for most of their shows, has been Halo, of course. Such a great song, such a great sing-along. Shame I couldn't have seen those, but I was there for pretty much most of the set, and yeah, very much enjoyed it. Machine Head are one of those bands I've seen play, I don't know, I must have seen them I've seen them on most of their tours. I saw them for the first time in '97 when they toured The More Things Change. That was a good fucking show, man. Machine Head with Skin Lab, Napalm Death and Coal Chamber, and yeah, that was a great show. I saw them on I think I saw them on Through the Ashes, I saw them on The Blackening, saw them on Unto the Locust, and this is the first time I've seen them since then. So it's been a few years since I've seen them last, but they've never disappointed live. They always just bring it. They're just a 3-hour set, and they were just high energy right the way through. So if you do have tickets to see any of their upcoming tour dates, you're in for a treat. They won't let you down. Fantastic band, fantastic performances from all members of the band, high energy, awesome. Yeah, highly recommended. Go check out Machine Head live. So what have I got coming up next? I'm not actually sure at this point, to be honest with you. Oh no, I know what's next. Yeah, we got the new Jonathan Davis album, Dope Throne. Oh, who else have we got? Snow Patrol. I was going to try out their new album. Why not? I like to try out something a bit different. It doesn't all have to be about metal. There was another fucking band I'm forgetting as well. Oh yes, and Bleeding Through. They're releasing their new album next week as well. So yeah, I'll check that out as well. Brandon Chipetti, etc. Always a pretty high energy band. They were quite angry, I thought. Oh, so that was Machine Head live. Great band. If you haven't already seen them, make sure you do. Phenomenal band. They will not disappoint. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, get notifications, comment, like, share, all the rest of it, and I will see you for more videos. So many more videos. God damn, how many videos do I do? Ah.